Welcome to Beep Baseball, and thank you for volunteering for us. If you've never seen the sport played, you're in for a surprise. Remember, you are volunteering to be a base operator in this game, so let's make sure you understand your role and some of the basics of the game. All right, what defines a run in beepball is touching the base. So the base can be touched anywhere on the base in order to be a run. It could be a fingertip on the base. It could be kicking the bottom of the base. Anything touching the actual base is what considers a run. Okay, so when we make an out defensively, the defensive player has to show possession. So I'm going to just show you what possession looks like. The ball has to pick up the ball. It has to be off the ground and away from their body. If the player has the ball on the ground, that is not an out until it is off the ground and away from the body. The definition of an out is if the defensive player can show possession before the base runner reaches the base. So like this. Up. And you can see the player got possession, the ball's off the ground and away from their body before the runner reached the base. If you think it is a dead tie goes to the defensive player. Now let's watch this clip again with the information that you have. You'll see the pitcher releasing the ball, and what should happen is the base should go off right about now before he makes contact. The ball's hit into left field, and you'll see the fielder move to try to make a play as the base runner is running right at you. Now all we're doing is we're looking for when that defensive player has possession away from their body and off the ground, which is right about now. And that means the runner's out. We recommend that a base umpire stand behind the base diagonally and about 10 feet in foul territory, on the foul territory side of the base. The reason for that is if you stand level with the base, Sean, come to the base, stop when you get to it, you can see here that oftentimes you can get blinded and you don't know when the player reaches the base. However, if you're back here where Gina is, you can see that you will not be blinded from that call. When the base runner hits the base, the base judge or base umpire raises their hand to signal safe. There is no talking. The base umpire is not allowed to talk during the play. They're not allowed to tell the player anything. Everything needs to be silent. The umpire should be silent until the play is over. When a runner's coming to your base, please focus on that base alone. However, if the runner's running to the opposite base that you're calling, you need to be watching the entire play because you have a great sight line. All right, as a base umpire, one of the main calls that you may need to make is what is fair or foul. And the key thing is what's fair or foul down the line, okay? Now, the base is at 100 feet away. The base sits 10 feet in foul territory. So if this is the fair line right here, and the ball rolls foul before the base, that's a foul ball. If the ball rolls foul after the base, that is a fair ball. Okay, again, if it's foul after it goes by the base at 100 feet, if it rolls into foul territory after the 100 feet, it is a fair ball. All right, when a play is over, what you need to do is this is what it'll often look like. So you need to do a couple of things. One, the square of the base should stay square to home plate. There'll be a mark on the field. It should be on its mark. Secondly, the speaker needs to be facing home plate at all times. You never want to have the speaker facing off the side. So always make sure the speaker is facing home plate. Sometimes during the beginning of an at-bat, a batter will ask for a base check. And the purpose of a base check is to make sure that the batter knows where the bases are and that the bases are working. If they're not working, there's a couple of key things for you to check. Number one, come make sure that the connection to the wire, to the base wire and the base is tight. Sometimes the wires can be finicky and you might need to just twist it a little bit and place it on the ground. That's number one. Number two, and I'm just going to unplug this to demonstrate it, is when we come to the speaker, sometimes the players may not be able to hear it. And what happens is this base gets hit so often, sometimes the speaker gets dislodged. And I'm gonna show you what happens on the back side of the speaker. Typically there's a piece of Velcro. The Velcro comes off and the speaker is in here. Now what you'll wanna do is remove the foam, and then you wanna make sure, if you come in here, can you see that? We wanna make sure that the tweeter of the speaker is facing through the white grill on the front here. We want to make sure the tweeter of the speaker is facing through that. Sometimes what will happen is this will get spun and turn, and the tweeter of the speaker will be exposing its sound to the foam or the backside of the base, as opposed to through that white grill. So if the batter is having a hard time hearing the bass, what will happen is you'll be asked to just check to make sure that the speaker is facing the right direction from within inside the base. Now, every base is a little different. Occasionally, a player may call for a late base. What a late base means is the base goes on after the player makes contact with the ball at home plate. So if you do not hear that noise happen before the player makes contact, if the player calls late base and the umpire comes out and asks you for your opinion, your job is to understand if that base went off before the player made contact with the pitch. Also, at any point, what may happen is the base may cut out while they're running. If that happens and the player calls late base and the home plate umpire asks you if the base cuts out, that's what they're looking for. The base should stay on from the time just before the hitter makes contact all the way through to the base runner tags the bases and finishes running. We always want to keep the base on until the player reaches the base. If we cut the base off before the player reaches the base, that can cause bodily harm and injuries. Base operators have some of the best sight lines on the field. So when a ball's hit to the right side of the field and the runner's running to, say, the left side of the field, oftentimes the base operators can see the play much better than someone who's at home plate. Our base operators are very important. You're going to be standing on your feet for long periods of time in the heat. So please make sure that you understand that you are just as important as an official as the head umpire. If you have any questions, concerns, or need anything, please make sure to ask the head umpire, or even call timeout and ask the head umpire. We also want to make sure that you guys are safe, so please stay hydrated. Don't be afraid to jog in between innings and get some water. Occasionally, a ball will be hit down the same line the base runner is running, and the defensive player may get pulled into foul territory, or the offensive player may be running in fair territory. If you feel there's a pending collision, please yell stop for the player's safety. The play will be stopped, and the umpire will make a decision on who was in the right and who was in the wrong based on where the ball was or where the players were. If a player can catch the ball on one bounce, it's worth 2 outs. Just like that. Good job, Sean. A few remaining items to remember. First, if any players or coaches talk to you about the play, just simply refer them to the head umpire, and the head umpire will take care of the situation. At times, a head umpire will be asked to double check the call and will come out to you and ask you for your opinion. So please keep in mind that your role is to pay attention to the game, and you have some of the best sight lines, and your feedback is important. Lastly, we want to make sure to keep noise at a minimum, cell phones off, no change in your pockets, and please be smart and comfortable out there. Prepare for rain, have good shoes, and make sure to hydrate. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. If you got any questions, please ask at any point, and really thank you so much for volunteering for us.